Good morning. Thank you for joining us this morning. This morning, we're going to be talking about Aperio products and applications, and we're going to kind of take into that next kind of area where we're trying to figure out that situation where we cannot potentially get a wire to someplace. You know, I grew up doing access control, fire security and access control for 23 years on the industry side before I joined ASSA ABLOY. And I've literally done hundreds and thousands of site surveys, and doing a site survey is so critical what we do, and understanding where we can and cannot get a wire to it is important. Understanding how to look at and spec hardware, spec our options for access controlling something is important. As you know, the three of us, the four of us, I should say, with Rich Baker joining us this morning, we are with ASSA ABLOY. But if you're not familiar with our parts and our pieces, you know, imagine anything you can do with a door hardware frame, whether it's interior, exterior, fencing, gating, you may name it, we do it. The three of us, the four of us actually, I should say, are from the group of HES, strikes, Securitron, mag locks, switches, alarm controls, all those things that are unique that we need to find and create sometimes, and switches and locks too. Adams Wright storefront aluminum. If you're not familiar with storefront aluminum and you're going to do it, go watch our classes, because over 50% of all access control in the future is going to be with storefront aluminum on the perimeter of a building and the interior of a building. And of course, life safety power. You know, we need power to everything we do. And life safety power is that next generation where we can really take and truly use software to monitor the status of power to everything we do. We can use software to monitor a lot of different things for access control, but imagine monitoring your power. And that's what life safety takes us that next generation to provide power or monitor power as well. Safety is always critical to us. I grew up doing safety trainings every single day, pretty much. Toolbox talks, major safety events that we would do, OSHA training. But safety is so critical. And I had 140 techs when I was a training manager, 140 techs. And my number one thing is everyone goes home safe at the end of the day. Everyone goes home, and we've been changing and evolving our safety with everything we've been dealing with for the last 2 years. We want everybody to go home. So with that, we're going to get into our topic of the day, and it's going to be Aperio. And you can notice on this, we've got a couple of changes that are going to be happening. You're going to see some of the products, in particular the G100 and the A100. They're still available right now, but they are going away. They do have a discontinued time frame already in the books. So we know they're going away. If you're going to look at them, just kind of be aware that, you know, we are going to be discontinuing some of those parts and pieces. Then we're going to start out with some of the basics. And I'm going to take you way back to when I joined the industry, and I know there's a couple of others out there. I know Brian Kessler and some of the others have been out there. Len Stoy, we've been doing this for a long time. I go back to 1991, and to me, when we did access control then, it was about wires. I mean, we would literally have 10 boxes of wire lined up, and we'd run 10 wires out to a door and opening, depending on what we're going to be able to do with it. And we started to change and evolve what we've been doing over the last 30 to 40 years, and we're running fewer and fewer wires, and a lot of it's about being green. Wireless has obviously become a major player in the game when we're doing access control today, using less and less wire. And today we're doing a lot of retrofits too, where we're going back and retrofitting from an old building. We're working on a building from the 40s and the 50s. I talked to a gentleman this morning from a building that is being retrofitted that was built originally in 1910. Imagine the retrofit to be able to bring that building to code, dealing with all the standards for doors, hardware, frames, and trying to get wires around a building that's primarily built out, with brick and cement. And it's hard to get a wire around someplace. So we're seeing a huge growth in not only Wi-Fi, but also wireless capability. And we have to keep in mind that when we're dealing with some of these products, there are also some limitations, which we're going to be talking about a little bit later on. Like I said, I've been doing this for a long time, and we think about doing access control. A lot of times we start around the perimeter of a building and key doors inside the building. But as we continue to grow and the rules continue to change, we keep adding more and more for compliance, HIPAA rules for privacy. How about high value areas within rooms, such as IT rooms, equipment rooms, pharmacy rooms, where we need to maintain and control drugs. I know that when I go to my personal doctor, they have their own pharmacy within their doctor's office that has, security rules within that, but we need to have the capability of adding and expanding access control. And sometimes we have to do it very quickly. And sometimes we have to do it while the building and facility is operational. We cannot interrupt operations of a building and facility. So we need to keep in mind, and as we've gone forward in time, we're giving more and more capabilities, more flexibility. I can't run a wire. I don't want to run a wire. I have a tight deadline. I need to get this done as quickly as possible. When we think about current buildings, a lot of these buildings have existing infrastructure for networking up and in and above their buildings. They've got existing access control capability. We don't see so much hard lids anymore. A lot of hard lids are going way for T-grid pop style system, ceiling type systems. Makes it a little bit easier to move around and get wiring up and around a building. If I've got the hard lid, I can also work around that. Trust me, over time doing access control and fire, we've had to create a lot of access port hatches up in the ceilings to be able to move around if we have to. But we're looking at more and different challenges all the time. And sometimes, a lot of times it includes not just a door, but drawers and cabinets and different things. So we're trying to give you different options when we're looking at Aperio, and especially when it gets into, personal records. We look at controlling different things, such as explosive cabinets, electrical cabinets, places where I need it to be secure. And as we work with some of these things, what are the best solutions that we have? And probably one of the biggest things that we're dealing with right now is even research. If we think about, my daughter does research, and they have secure incubators that they close and they lock that door, and only designated people have a key to access control. So someone doesn't accidentally open that door and contaminate part of their research. So there's a lot of options that we need to be available or have available for those different solutions. And with the Aperio product, the Aperio product actually goes back a lot further than what we think about it. The Aperio product came into the United States really in the last 10 years, but its life started in Europe. So it's got a good buildup before it ever came here to the United States. But Aperio is the capability where we're using wireless communications, where we're going to set up what we call as a hub up on the top up here. You see as a hub. That hub connects to something to do with an access control system, and that gives me wireless communication out to many different products. And we're constantly expanding that capability, and we're seeing new generation stuff coming up, and we're seeing some of the old stuff being kind of retired over time. But imagine a wireless card reader. I come up on an apartment complex, I come up on a hotel, I come up something that got marble, it's got rock, it's got glass, places where it cannot add a card reader to it to access control and opening, small cabinets. So we're expanding what our capabilities are over time. And I want to kind of differentiate a couple of different parts right now. Is first of all, I want to show you is all the products that you see on here right now come from our facility in Phoenix, Arizona. These are things that we manufacture in Phoenix. We put them together, we put them together, and they work in conjunction with a hub. And you can see there are two different sets of groups here. We have a one-to-one. That means that a lock, an R1 reader, is paired to a hub. It means the K100, a cabinet lock, is paired to the hub. The G100 is paired to a hub. That means these two products are married together. They work together as a component. They come together programmed to work and communicate together as it is. On the other side over here, we've got the KS100 and the A100. These are designed to be a part of bigger solutions and options that are available for us for the total of the Aperio product line from across ABLOY as a whole. And you can see just a few of the products that are up here right now, but these are, in this configuration, part of certified integrator technology capabilities, where integrators are going to be certified to work with all these different products, because these products are designed to work with designated access control partners that we have, partners that have configured their software to work with the Aperio line of products. And it takes programming, it's special programming based on all the different software manufacturers. These partners have written their programs to be able to give Aperio its true expansion capability, which I'm going to show you in a little bit. So there are different levels. I can buy this on a one-to-one. Anybody can buy it on a one-to-one, where the lock and the hub will work on anybody's access control system that has a WEGAN communication capability. Then you have integrated. That's where you've got the capability of working with your software and communicating not only with one hub, but also multiple products connected to that hub. And we'll show that as we continue on forward. But we're seeing the need for more and more of these products all the time based on locations where we're going to put them, places that are hard to get a wire to. Imagine getting a wire into a cabinet, let alone multiple cabinets, anything from computer equipment to drugs to musical equipment, certain places where I need to control it, but also we're going into other places where it might be hard to work and add something very quickly. Classroom buildings, getting wiring in around some of the older buildings. How about dormitories? How about all the everything we're doing at hospitals, from drug control, getting into business buildings, a plethora of different places. Getting into data centers where I can control who gets into and sees into my rack, especially when I'm working with a co-location. And a lot of times, the big thing I think that Aperio did is it looked at the application, that looks at common things that, where does it make sense to be able to use it? What are some of the different scenarios we have? Access control was really second to cameras when it comes to working with IT individuals. And cameras came into working with IT in the mid 1990s. And when I think about adding a camera to a network system, it's taken up a ton of bandwidth. So there's a lot of bad blood that was created between access control security integrators and IT personnel, because in the 1990s, bandwidth was still very tight and very controlled. Well, and that IT relationship is still kind of hit or miss. We've been building and improving it year after year, because more and more the IT side of it is really now controlling access control systems once they're operational for software programming and everything. But there are many places where, the relationship can be tough or strained. You got security on one side, you got IT on the other side. With the Aperio products, we can do a lot of this on the access control side, but we can add these systems very quickly, what we're going to be working with. I need to get up here and look very quickly and bring up my chat, see if I have questions popping up here. Okay, if you have any questions, we've got Rich on the back, we've got Russ on the back. They're here to help answer any questions. So please don't be afraid to ask questions while we're going through the presentation here as well. Okay, so as we continue forward here, the relationships are important to us. We're going to continue on. We're going to talk a little bit about the architecture here so we understand it, because we have different hubs, and different hubs by models, and the models have different purposes for what we're going to be able to provide. So I want to give you a little bit more of a detail on the different hub and how they work and function. But don't be afraid to download this presentation. If you download it, you can get all the information. I'll have a copy of it that you can take and go back and reference it, because there's a lot of information for an hour, but we will stay on at the end and answer any questions that you have as well. So when we start looking at the different types of hubs, it's understanding their purposes. So we have hubs that are designed for 1-to-1, 1-to-8, 1-to-16, and then we're also going bigger and bigger as we continue to grow. But a 1-to-1 hub, it is married to a product. It is married to a product when it comes out of the factory. It's shipped to you, it's sent to wholesale. You purchase it, it's got a hub and a lock that are married together. They cannot be divorced. If something happens bad to one, you got to replace both of them. That's kind of the way it is. But then you got your other two models up here. You got the AH30 and the AH40. That gives me expansion capability where to that one hub using a RS485, I can communicate multiple locks to that one individual hub. 8, 16, the next generations are growing. We're getting bigger and bigger all the time. We also have the capability of adding antennas to them to change the basically the view range of it. And we'll get into that a little bit deeper here as we continue forward. But as we look at there, we're trying to give you expansion capability. We're giving you some different functionality, which I want you to be able to understand as we grow through from 1-to-1, 1-to-8, 1-to-16, and so forth. But imagine on anybody's weekend communication line, I can add a door. Say I'm doing a site survey on an old historical building. I've got a door that's surrounded by brick. I've got a ceiling. Say we got a ceiling that's a hardlit. I got an open deck. I don't want wire up there. But do I have communication wiring already up there? In a lot of situations, we probably do. Can I put a hub up there that's going to communicate? I can put a lock on a brick on the door that'll work based on a site survey, gathering information on the hardware. Can I do that? And we're trying to give you more different options. And even if you need to do it to a cabinet, you need to do it to some type of a secure drawer, all kinds of different options. And we're trying to make it easy. And the nice part about the H120 is that it is really, really simple to wire and configure. With the H20, we also give you some different functionality for monitoring door position switches, Rexes, a lot of functionality right there on the back of the hub. So some flexibility you get with the H20. On the other side of it, we have the next generation where we're going up into the RS-485 communication. And with that RS-485, I've got a lot more data, a lot more information. I can communicate very quickly back and forth on the format. But imagine from one hub, I can do a row of doors, I can do a row of cabinets, monitoring in a co-location site, monitoring different cabinets might have drugs or pharmaceutical products within them. I can monitor it. And if you kind of notice in the images, the hub is kind of sitting up on a wall or sitting up on a ceiling looking at the products. And when I show you the viewing range of that hub, I'll make a little bit more sense. But in most situations, I always kind of look at applications are, if I see it, it sees me, I've got a very, very good shot that it's going to work. And we'll explain that a little bit further as we continue along. But imagine working from one hub and being able to communicate out to one product, communicating out to 16 different products, capability of taking that hub and doing some daisy chain capability with it. And when we get into the complexity of working with the 485, that is where the certification comes in, that someone has to attend some training. They have to take classes, take some classes. I see that, Brian, thank you. You have to take some classes to get certified, not only on the software, but also the configuration of the products as we work through them, because we're getting more and more flexibility with the product. We're going to be able to communicate with from a hub to more products as we continue to move forward. Imagine going up to working with an IP type of product and communicating out up to 64 different locks, especially when we get them set up in co-locations, hospitals. We may have multiple lockers. Imagine an employee locker room where you've got a locker for every employee and you got a whole bunch, you got like, they're literally stacked, double stacked all the way through. Imagine being able to put one hub up on there and communicating, be able to see and communicate to 64 different locks. You're able to get an audit trail of who comes and goes through it. So there's a lot of different functionality we're giving you to, we're going to provide to you. And imagine having an access control system where I have that remote communication capability out there. I've got my 485 out there, and I can get, I need to get something with that wireless capability to it. Here we've created a board, the Vertex board, which will now give you the capability of adding that. From there, I can extend from there to a hub, which will then communicate out to 2 individual wireless products from the Aperio line. So we're giving you different flexibility as we get into the next generation, we continue on. Okay, features and products. Well, one of the most important things is being able to work with all the different products which are coming up and be available to us in time. And we're going to be changing and evolving some of this as we move forward. But imagine being able to, when you get the one-to-one products are one-to-one only, so you can't do much you can't do anything to extend those. But with the others, the 1-to-8, 1-to-16, I can mix all these different products into communicating with one hub. So we have the flexibility of being able to mix and match as we need it, because there's never going to be that situation. You know, there's never going to, there can be a situation where I've got a whole bunch of them together, but switching, you know, being able to work with multiple products on one communication format gives you an expansive capability of moving into different areas of buildings. You know, what is my scenario of doing a perimeter door lock to doing a cabinet that might be underneath the receptionist desk, multiple different things within one central area. So audit trail capability, being able to change and lock down our systems, that's become a real big one, especially as we're dealing with potential for mass incidents that might happen. So we're expanding the capability of giving you lockdown, giving you real-time scenario capability, giving you the capability of having a product that has an extended life for operational. And when I'm talking about that, imagine something working off of a set of batteries and you're going to get 40,000 cycles of operation. And a lot of that will depend on how much communication time. Each one of these locks will have the capability of communicating up to the main access control system. And the more it communicates up and down, the faster that battery is going to wear down, of course, but imagine being able to get roughly 40,000 cycles of operations on a single product, not getting wired to a door. I can do it quickly. I can do it easily without interruption of my operations for the day. Okay. All the technologies we have existing for card readers, we're continuing to add more. The Bluetooth capability is really expanding very quickly. We're adding that technology into our different card readers, which are supported by the Aperio line of products. Here you can see a quick line of some of the different products that are out there, or the technologies that are currently available for card reader technology and the capability of being able to use it. We continue on here. Power information. I talked a little bit about power, but imagine, 60,000, 50,000, 40,000 cycles of operation. I do want to remind you, as I kind of mentioned earlier, the Adams Rate A100 and the G100, they're going to be gone by the end of this year, the 1st of January, 2022. So at this point, not going to be, necessarily something I would look at using for something new that's going to go on to something in the near future. I look at trying to see if there are different products we can use available for it. But real-time polling, minimal poll time, all the different things that we're giving the capability. And those times are being shortened down shorter and shorter and shorter all the time. If we have a real-time incident, I want to be able to lock and secure something as quickly as I can. We're getting that time down as quickly as we can with the technology. As we look at these different products, it's understanding how important is a site survey, gathering the information we need, gathering and understanding what are the customer's needs, how are we going to apply a product to an application? Does it make sense? Does it fit? The R100 reader, this thing is designed to be able to mount to many different types of materials. It gives us expansion capabilities. We obviously want to watch on the application and location of the hub. Some of these we want to watch for whether it's got an outdoor certification, it does not have an outdoor certification. We want to make sure to do our site surveys correctly. So we're gathering the information we need. We make it an easy step-by-step, identifying the product, identifying the technology in which we're going to be using. Are you going to order it in a black and white? Many different options depending on which one are we looking at using. The cabinet locks, here again, doing the site surveys, understanding what type of knobs you want. What is the how thick is the actual material we're working on? What that cabinet is. That cabinet can be a 1/2 inch thick. It's going to be 3/4 of an inch. What is the thickness? These are little things that we have to pay attention to when we're going out and doing our site surveys. Okay. Same thing for IT racks. There are about roughly, I think, 40 to 50 different manufacturers of IT racks. How that lock is going to fit onto it. Oftentimes we kind of look at, do we have a standard ANSI size fitting on that? And Rich, if you get a minute, can you put in the size of the fitting for an IT rack? I know there are certain dimensions that we have available for that, but Rich, if you can you put those dimensions for the IT rack in there? These are really important that we understand that we need to understand the manufacturer of the rack and the dimensions for the opening in which the KS100 will fit into that server cabinet lock. I've done a lot of classes recently with a couple of the major IT users for server rooms and co-location racking and stuff like that in the last couple of weeks. This is a very important product to them as they continue to grow. Their products need to be secure. Rich, if you can answer up, there's a list. If we've got that list, if we can put that up here, at least put a link to it, that would be great.
Okay.
So as we look at going forward, a lot of times, I think about how important a site survey is to us and going out and gathering information. And we're going to see many different things. And as I do a site survey is, what am I looking at? How do I secure it? What are my opportunities to get a wire to it? And when I have a situation like this, I know I'm not going to be able to get a wire to it. Okay, not easily. Are there places I can potentially get some wiring to it? Maybe. Or, what is my technology options? But here I've got an option where this is a courtyard. In this courtyard, it was a sealed, so it had a sealed overhead. It had an open glass, or had glass up above, so it's all open for the natural lighting come in. But getting a wire to this is going to be something extremely difficult if we want to be able to access control it. Site surveys are critical to us because we're going to run into many different scenarios. We want to figure out, how do we access control it? How can we get a wire to it? Is it going to be outdoor rated, indoor rated? But I want to be able to provide locking capability to it. Is it going to be secured from the inside? What type of a building is it? Site surveys are critical to us. And I want to show you something that is really, really kind of neat. If you have not seen this yet, is the new HES VSES 1, or I should say V3 version 3 ES 100 electric strike. I had the opportunity of doing an installation on this product. I think we did it back in June, and there's a video which Katie has done a lot of editing on to make me look better. And actually, you see my hands more than anything else. But this is that product where we have a lot of applications where we want to use an electric strike. And imagine working with a customer that says, hey, I need to secure this. I'm going to bring in a new IT room. I'm going to bring in a new pharmaceutical room. I need to make this room secure. I need to do as quickly as I can. And it's hard to get a wire in and around the building. We know we've got existing infrastructure on it, but imagine being able to bring in a card reader, electric strike. I do not need to get wire down the frame to it. I can put a hub up on a wall, and I can put a strike on the frame, a reader right next to it. I have a short wire loop between the two, and we can install this thing in literally a couple of hours and be done and operational. We've got different colors. We have different colors we can use. We can monitor a door position switch. We can monitor a latch. We can monitor a bolt on it. Operated by batteries. Imagine putting in 2 AA batteries into the card reader, working with the electric strike in the frame, 40,000 cycles of operation, and we can get it in operational probably within 2 to 3 hours. Minimal disruption to the customer's business, simple and easy. What about dealing with something historical? We're trying to give you the capability of adding in something quickly where needed, something that might need to be done because of historical or because of reasons of getting wire in and around a building. If you've ever worked with a historical society, yeah, they know we need to secure and understand something, but they're going to give you a lot of restrictions. And a lot of times they don't want to see wiring in and around something, but imagine being able to bring this in an option. So what we did is we took if you're familiar with the 1500 and 1600 electric strikes, we took those and we did something different with them, is we took out the solenoid. So all electric strikes to date, previous, had a solenoid in it. Now we're going to remove the solenoid and we're going to put a motor in it. So this got a small motor in it that makes it work. That motor, based on the draw, so with this, let's imagine with the average electric strike, I've got a solenoid that's going to draw 120 milliamps to make it work. Now I'm going to give you a motor that's going to draw and run off about 60 to 70 milliamps of power, which means that I can fire this off of 2 batteries that are going to be sitting in my reader and give you roughly 40,000 cycles of operation. This is designed already and set up to communicate to my hub. So I've got hub communication already set up. You get the strike in it. So in the box, you get a card reader, hub, one or the other of the electric strikes, depending on what you need. Fast and easy communication. I really like this product when I got the opportunity to do the installation on it. And by the way, we also created a Built app. So if you're not familiar with Built is an app that is designed to show you how to put something together in about 10 to 15 second snippets. So step by step in short snippets, it shows you how to do it. You can literally watch the video and go and install it step by step by step. And we did this for the ES 100 strike. It is a phenomenal product. I know Russ and I have both been talking about it in every class we've done, and everybody loves this product. Every people have taken out and installed it already. Great reviews. Very nice, very clean product. Like I said, it's the 1500 strike. We took out the solenoid, we put a motor in it, we provided a wire connection a wire from the strike into the card reader, about 13 inches of connection. That's it. That's all we have. Wireless communication up to the hub. Fast and easy way to create access control for something that needs to be done very quickly. As we look at some of the other things, I want to quickly discuss the application, because the application is critical to us. How we're going to place this to get it to work is very important. I've been doing this for a long time, and I know many of you have been doing this for a long time too, is especially when you're working with a retrofit application, it's a lot harder to deal with, what's existing than to see what's coming in and kind of figure out what I'm going to do and layout as I go through. When I'm dealing with an existing construction, I need to understand application, and keep in mind, we don't always know what's inside the walls. If I look at a tilt-up wall, I kind of have a very good idea of what's inside that wall. If I look at a brick wall, I know what's inside that wall. But a lot of times when we're dealing with drywall, I see paper wallpaper, I see drywall that's painted. I oftentimes can't see what's behind it. So applications are important to us. And I bring this picture up because I want to show you that rugby football right there. So when we think about application, imagine the shape of a rugby football, not an American style football, but a rugby football. And to make things a little bit easier, we have a team out there, the ABLOY DSS team, that has the capability of going out and helping you do site surveys for applications and help you understand application of this product. We want you to be successful. So that's why we have those certification programs. That's why we have teams that are available to help you. I've got a couple of team members up there. Our DSS team, last I heard, they're sitting around 800 DSS reps across North America that are there. They live in those areas. They're there regionally to help and support you. If you need help, reach out to our teams. They're going to be able to help you and support you. But when we start looking at applications, understand the application is just as important during our site survey. I kind of have a rule of thumb is, I see it, it sees me, 50 feet, this product is golden. It works. I put it down on a lock on a door, put my hub up 50 feet, I can roughly see it. It's golden product. I've taken this product and I've run it 120 feet. We measured it out, we wheeled it out, 120 feet down a straight corridor, and it works. Perfect scenario. Direct on communication, and it worked perfect. When you're out there in the real world, you're not always going to get the perfect scenario. There are rules that we have to follow when we're working with multiple hub systems. There are separation rules that we have to pay attention to as we work with the different products. So we just want to make sure that we pay attention to the rules. And sometimes we have to make sure that we're paying attention to other people and what they're doing as well. Having communication with people within buildings, IT people, what other wireless or Wi-Fi types of systems do they have running inside their buildings? We want to make sure that we have a separation between some of these hubs and these transmission receiving hub locations. So we need to make sure that we talk to others. I know that if you ever go into our factory, we've got communication hubs all over our ceilings up there. So we need to be careful and make sure we have the proper separation as we work our way through different areas within our building, because we know that there are different things that can create communications issues. Separation is critical to us, making sure we're away from certain products. When we think about, even in hospitals today, they still have pager type systems. We have microwaves, we have generators, all kinds of different products are there that can create communications issues. Separation is critical as we're working our way through it. So we're trying to give you some different options. So pay attention to what we're doing during the application process. When we're communicating with the customer, we've got a lot of things to think about. A lot of things we're site surveying, we're gathering information, how somebody's odd looking little thing up on a ceiling. It's like, what is that? Can it create a communications issue? These are things we're watching for. But earlier I showed you the picture of a rugby football. So when we look at the base hub as it sits up on a wall, so I got my base hub sitting up on a wall up here. Its basic shape is out in the format of a rugby football. And I get some reception on the back of the hub as well, but primarily it's out in front of me in the shape of a rugby football. If I take and add myself an antenna on top of it, well, that kind of takes it, and I can take that and put it in the center of a building. I take that shape more now to a circular basketball, roughly about 25 feet. So we've got about 50 feet straight out. And if I take and put an antenna on it, I can take that now to about a 25-foot radius. Application is important. Where's this stuff going to be working at? Where am I going to put my hub as a receiver? Do I put an antenna? The antenna is an optional that we can add on to it if we want to. Shapes of rooms matter. If we get into some of the different products, Katie, I think we have a link to a more detailed site survey and applications of some of the different hub locations. There are more details that will give you information. So if you're going to start site surveying for adding Aperio, make sure you can reach out to our DSS teams. Two, you're going to have a better idea when you take, if you look at the application flyer that we have, it will give you different application ideas of where we can look at. And you'll notice that we do have
Roger
on height as well. Yes.
Hey, one comment I'd thread. The most common application where one really needs the external antenna is as shown on the drawing, where you have the hub directly above the opening and facing the same direction as the lock. That tends to put it in a sort of a dead spot for reception. That's where the external hub really comes in. I'm sorry, the external antenna.
Yep. Yeah, and that's critical. Always when I kind of look at this, I never want to put something directly above it because that's your weakest link for communication. We always want to kind of put it out to the side, more of an angle so we'll be able to see it, but directly above, oftentimes we do have that dead spot. So if the antenna has helped to take care of that, perfect. Okay. Other things that we can look at, we have communications capabilities of helping to do testing and supporting of the products. When Russ and I get a chance to come in, and we've got a training box for the Aperio products. We've got both the one-to-ones and we have the multiple product lineups that we can work with. But we have a training boxes where we work with cabinet locks. We work with both IT cabinet locks and a standard door for a cabinet, be able to bring in the products, install it, actually test it and show you how it works. We can do the testing with a WT2 tester. And if you're not familiar with the WT2, that is a phenomenal product to be able to test almost any locking hardware you have. So let's say, for example, you're working with a general contractor and bringing in a whole bunch of electronic locking hardware during a construction process. You're bringing in the hardware, you're setting it up on the door, and it may be a month to 2 months before they ever bring electricity to it. But imagine if you can come in and bring in all that electronic hardware, set it up in that new construction, bring in a testing process, test it, make sure it works, document all your testing and everything, and show everybody it works. Imagine I have a copy of that. So like, let's say on today's date, I go in, I install all this electronic hardware, I tested it with my WT2 and it worked. I'm a locking hardware guy, I'm providing the hardware, document everything worked. Then 3 months later, they call me in, they connect it up to it and it doesn't work. I'm gonna say, well, it worked on this date. It worked, I certified on this date, I gave a copy of it to the general contractor. I'm kind of protecting myself, but I can validate that my product worked on that date. So the WT2 is not only good for the testing that we show for the Aperio, but also for many other products that are available on the electronic locking hardware side of things. Solutions, a plethora of different solutions that we have here. Imagine an incubation. This is our research lab incubation cube. So we got to put something inside of it. I need to control when that door is open. That door cannot be opened and closed for people to get in there and kind of snoop around. I need to control who has the capability of opening up that door. How about research? How about medical equipment? Here, imagine a product that's floating from a ceiling, all the controls and everything I need, but this thing here free floats off the ceiling, rotates around a building. It's used for certain medical procedures that are done within a designated area, but I need to keep that little drawer locked and secured because there are controls inside there that are very, very, very expensive, okay? How about getting into remote cabinets that may have something of value inside there? It might be an electrical cabinet, it might be drug cabinet, it might be a key cabinet, but imagine having access control to be able to look inside of there. Here, this one here, this application here, this is a rolling medical cart in an emergency room. It has inside of it controlled drugs so that only designated people can actually open up that cabinet to be able to pull something out of it. So imagine a cart that needs to move around a room and they're going to have hubs that allow it to be able to communicate with it. I can get an audit trail, who's opening it up, yes or no, they have authority to open it up, okay? How about medical rooms, medical procedure rooms? I've got a customer coming in, they need to have a medical procedure done. They put their valuables within a locked, secured drawer. Their private stuff is secured. I can control who gets access into it. Remote access, getting into outside applications. I worked with a customer back about 3 months ago. They had an outdoor application. They couldn't get a wire out to it. The existing wire had gone bad. They went and put a card reader out there on a remote pedestal. They put an STI enclosure over the top of it. It was able to communicate. They put the hub up on a building close in proximity to it. It worked perfect, but you need to, when you're gonna put some of these outside, be able to protect it. So it's not within that direct sunlight that we have out there, or weather, rain, whatever else we have. Here, this is in a major university on the West Coast. Imagine literally hundreds and hundreds of mailboxes that we went in and we put in a cabinet lock on their doors so that we could provide access control for them. So we had 51 hubs, quite a few, and IP here, Aperio hubs. So with a lot of flexibility here. Hospital medical applications. Oftentimes you're going to have storage areas where we're using those storage areas to put different products in. Maybe each room has a designated storage area for stuff either for the person inside the room or medical care products that are inside those. So a lot of flexibility here. Cabinet locks, K through 12. My wife is a high school teacher, and they have IT racks like this that will have computers inside those racks. So they have a designated day they need those computers. They'll roll the cabinet around. She can pull them out. She's got a control over who gets access in and out of the computers. Makes it simple. Nurses' offices here. We've got, oftentimes you're going to have some of the controlled medications from the students. So the students have to bring their controlled pharmacy products into the nurse. They control it. They keep it inside of a locked cabinet. There again, control of products, control of certain materials that need to be controlled in the building. Corporate lockers, cabinet lockers, many different applications, storage lockers. You think about what Amazon has done with all their different lockers that have all over the place to have people come in and pick this stuff up. We can do this with all the employee lockers. We can do it with people that are transit in and out of a building. They need you think about going into a building and you cannot take certain products into it. You can't take anything electronic into it. So I want to secure it. A lot of flexibility here. Here we had an employee locker room, and we had another place, another major university that had, imagine music. Think about all the money that is spent on music products. A cabinet that would secure all the musical equipment with a secure cabinet. Easy to add, simple. It solved this, gave a solution, gave an audit trail for who's going to get into it. Compliance. We have products that have compliance in banking. So we have rules that have to be followed for custodial reasons. We have banking. We have security within public sector areas. Evidence lockers. Police storage lockers, their individual locker they have for maintaining some of their different equipment. A lot of options that we have with this. This one here, this is one of the first R100s that were actually put out on a site, and is put out at ASSA Communications. If you're familiar with ASSA, they're the camera people. They had an all glass opening. We gave them a solution to work with an R100 in conjunction with a mag lock up on top of their door. But many options available for you. Don't be limited by what we know. Think outside the boxes. Whenever I do any of my classes on site surveys, I always think outside the box. There are options available for you. IT, here again, Rich put up a little bit earlier information on the size of that opening for the KS100. We want to make sure that it is what you're working with to make sure the application of the KS100 is going to fit your needs. With this, I can have the capability of monitoring a door, a front door, back door of that cabinet. So oftentimes we have a front door and a back door to it. We put a door position switch on to monitor it. A lot of flexibility. Okay.
On that, that cutout, the 1 inch by 6 inches, fairly common for rack manufacturers. Are using the swing handle type latches. Most of them are sourcing the latch from the same place. So that's that cutout size is fairly common, but it's definitely someone wants to check on beforehand.
A lot of resources. If you go to our websites, we've got all across ABLOY, we have the Aperio website. So if you go on, type in Aperio, it's going to bring up all the different options that are available for you. And remember, we have, with our DSS teams, close to 800 people that are out there across the country. They're available to come and help and support you. So reach out to them. They can help you do site surveys, help you gather information, look at what is the process to become, we can buy one-to-one. Anybody can buy one-to-one with the Aperio Wiegand communications format. To go into that certification level, you have to go through some training processes. You have to be certified by local DSS team members. They're there to help and support you across the country. Okay. The Built app, I talked briefly about it a little bit earlier. This is an app that I think at one time, everybody has gone and put together something at home. They bought something and they had to sit on in their living room floor and put it together, and their wives have laughed at us because it took us so long to do it. Built is not only for our industry, but imagine you're going to go put the ES100 up on a door, and men hate to read instructions, but imagine the app in 15 seconds will tell you how to do it, show you how to do it, give you instructions. You get full 3D animation capability off of the screen with it. They'll show you in step by step how to put it together. You watch it, you go do the step. You go back, watch it, you go back and do a step by step. It is the fastest, easiest way to put something together. If you go to Home Depot, Lowe's, IKEA, you buy something that has to be put together, look for this app, look for that little app symbol up there. It'll show you how to put it together quickly, and your wife won't be laughing at you because you didn't get it to work right. Okay. Next, our ASSA ABLOY customer support app. Whether you're calling Sargent, Yale, HES, Securitron, imagine an app that is designed to let you call and talk to us very quickly. And when you talk to us, imagine the capability. If you're on the job site, you can actually sit there and live stream video to tech support, and they can see exactly what you're seeing on the job site. And imagine how much help I can give you. You're trying to explain something to me over the phone and 1,000 miles away. It's hard to get that full effect of what you're trying to say, but imagine showing me a streaming video of what is happening and what is not happening, how much more my tech support people can help you. That app, like I said, designed to help you touch us very quickly and to help us support you. Even if you need instructions, you lost the instructions, they're damaged, whatever, there's a lot of information, a lot of resources available here as well. So don't be afraid to go get the app. We also, I have a 10-minute rule. I'm the guy who back, 20 some years ago, if I had a problem, I would sit down, I was stubborn, and I'd sit there and try and figure it out. It'd take me 2-3 hours to try and figure it out. I've kind of learned 10 minutes. If you can't figure it out, if you're working on our parts and pieces, reach out to our teams. Let us help you out. And if you need drawings, we have a lot of drawings. Over the last 18 months to 2 years, our tech support teams have taken our drawings and put them online. Hundreds and hundreds of drawings. So if you don't have a drawing when you're going out to install something, some of our parts and pieces, well, we can help you out. And if not existing, call us up and kind of give us a narrative. What do you want to do? How do you want it to work? Give us a narrative, give us a part list of what you're working with. And if you call me up and you're using a whole bunch of everybody else's stuff, well, call them, don't call us. But if you're using primarily our parts and pieces and 1 or 2 of their stuff, that's fine. Call us up and we can create drawings for you. Most of the time we can turn them around in a couple of days. If you're working with our stuff out of Phoenix, strikes, mag locks, switches, we can do that usually in a couple of days for you. So let us help you out. And with that, Russ and I, we love being out in the field again. We love getting out there and seeing everybody come and take our classes. These classes are designed to help you touch it, help you feel it, get a better feeling and understanding of how it is going to work. We also have a lot of classes we've done online. We've been working on these classes. I think we have 27 or 28 unique 1-hour block classes that we've done in the last, almost the last 2 years now. They're free. Go watch them on demand. A lot of information. And if you don't understand it, you've got our numbers right here. Our emails are right here. Our cell phone numbers are right here. Let us help you out. If we're teaching a class during the daytime, we can't respond during the daytime. Emails we'll usually pick up at the end of the day. Cell phone, if you send me a text or a message, I'll usually try and answer that at lunch or something like that, but we can help and support you.